Hi. Don't know what time of day it is. It's coming up in 10 o'clock in the evening here in England. So things aren't going so good in some ways today, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But that's not a reason not to do the falling into silence. Maybe indeed it's more of a reason to fall into silence. So let me just tell you what the situation is. I came home this afternoon, and after a while, my daughter, who is adult and lives with me, um, said to me, "Oh, the neighbour had been to say that when she was having a shower, the water was leaking through into his what we call in England flats and what you might call apartments in the States." Oh no! I'm not, if you know me, you know I'm not great with things not working. The bigger it is, the worse it is. And particularly when it inconveniences another person, which is the person below me. Of course, this has happened before. You kind of always dread it happening again. It's part of the living in flats package, I guess. So I don't know about you, but when these things happen, my brain really fixes on the problem. So I have phoned the cover people that I got, and they're coming in the morning, sometime between 8 and 10. But still, I don't like being put out of routines, so I won't be able to use the shower until we know where we're going with this. And waiting for a plumber and all the what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. And of course, for me, when that happens, it's a reminder to get back into the moment. Not the future, not the past, but this present moment. So that's how I come tonight. So during the week, a couple of things came my way. I was watching, I read and I watch quite an eclectic range of people. And so I do watch the Hour of Power, which is broadcast from America. You may have heard of the Crystal Cathedral, and that's it's no longer there, but that's where it comes from. And Bobby Schuller, who is quite a good preacher, reframed fear. And he talked about fear not being something, I suppose, to fear, but to see it as a premonition, really, of where you're going. Now, I guess you're talking about a fear where if someone said, would you speak to a group of a couple of hundred people, you might feel fearful about it, or you may have a notion of speaking to a couple of hundred people without anybody saying anything, and you kind of fear it. But what he was trying to say was that fear is actually pointing you to where you're going. That's quite specific. So he's talking about a fear that's moving towards positivity. Now I don't know if you could apply this to all fear, but it certainly helped me rethink fear. So, for instance, if you're dreading something, a little voice says to me, "Well, you're dreading this situation with the leak. So what's good's going to come from that?" Well, right now, I don't know. I find it easier to see something like if you have fear of, say, speaking in front of many people, the fear is telling you will. But right now you're afraid, but you're moving towards it. I also picked up a book about alonement, written by, just looking at my note across here, Francesca Spector. Alonement. She talks about being in a relationship, and it was great until it wasn't. and then how she started to experiment being alone and cultivating the relationship with ourselves, which I thought was pretty spot on in terms of reading it. So a few ideas from the week and some feelings from today, and now we'll fall into silence, see what happens. Certainly I needed tonight. As always, we don't know how long we're going to go for. Have to be reasonable, I suppose, so I will. I think we'll leave it there. Come up in 10 minutes. Of course, you can just pause it, or you can just continue in the silence. I'll just fall back into silence and then I'll turn the video off.